And I want to say a big thank you to some other people as well today. I want to thank Gladys Wilmot, MEP, Chair of our National Executive Committee, not just for what she said this morning, but the way she represents this region in Brussels, the work she does in coordinating the work of all our MEPs, and the enormous help she's been to me personally in building good relations with socialist parties all across Europe, because we need those relationships, because we are socialists and we believe in working with people, not against them. Stamina, because she's the chair of the National Executive Committee, and as you know, it's famed for its short, brief, concise, very discussions where never a point of order would be raised by anybody or anything like that, and she chairs them with such amazing good humour and always gets them through in less than 6 hours. Gladys, thank you very, very much for today. Adele for what she said today and the fantastic victory you achieved on Thursday for all of us. The council is stronger for you being on it. The ward is better represented because somebody like you understands the needs of people. You're going to be brilliant. Thank you so much for what you said today. Chantal, candidate for Newark. There is a Civil War museum in Newark. There is a great history in the Civil War. Our democracy came from that. Always understand the history, because then when you know where you've come from, you know where you're going. But your story of a young woman empowered because we gave the opportunities for young women to be empowered is a story of achievement. I want a Labour government that empowers the whole community so that everyone can achieve their real potential and not be held back by discrimination, by sexism, by racism, by anything else. Thank you for what you've done, what you've said, and I'm looking forward to your election. Okay. Thank our marathon runner for being here today. John Ashworth! John, fantastic that you did the marathon on behalf of the charity, helping people who've gone through the pain of having alcoholic parents. What you said in Parliament, what you did on it, was very brave. You did the marathon, and we were all very happy and very proud to support you in doing that. But we're also very proud of the work you're doing as Shadow Health Secretary. Would you like Well, it's really a no-brainer. Would you rather have Jeremy Hunt as Health Secretary? I mean, I could take a vote if you like. No, mate. You reckon I'm a vote? Okay, right. But John is absolutely fantastic. What he's done is called these Tories out. Called them out on the cuts to social care, called them out on the underfunding of mental health, and called them out on their sustainability and transformation plans. Whoever dreamt up those plans, I really wonder. And he said, quite rightly, we're going to put a stop to that stuff. We're going to make sure there's a health service and a hospital there for everybody in every part of the country. John is leading us on health. And in John, you'll have a health secretary who doesn't always look for somebody to blame, like you could blame the doctors for not working 20 hours a day, merely 18. Or you could blame nurses, or you could blame staff, or you could blame people for being ill. You could blame lots of people. John instead will make sure that the historic duty of our party of a health service as a human right free at the point of use will be there, and will be there for everybody to deal with health inequality and ensure we have the real security of knowing health, social care and mental health is there for all of us. John, thank you for everything you do. But he did ask me to be brief this morning because he wants to get out on the doorstep campaigning this afternoon. And he says, all of you that are free this afternoon, and that's those of you that are not going to see Leicester this afternoon, that's the other Leicester, you can join John on the doorstep, and there you are. Vote John Ashworth! There can be no doubt, my friends, that Thursday's local election results were disappointing for the party. But we had welcome victories in Manchester, Liverpool, Wales, Doncaster and elsewhere. But too many fantastic councillors who worked tirelessly for their communities lost their seats. We face a huge challenge in the next 4 and a bit weeks. But this general election campaign is also an opportunity, a chance to break free, to create a society in which people are no longer held back by a system that is rigged for the rich, a chance to rebuild Britain for the many and not the few. There is also a huge danger that the Tories' fear-mongering and spin machine will make some people settle for less than they should, resign themselves to things the way they are, underestimating just how many more burdens the Tories could impose if their mission to rig the system for the rich isn't halted by us. The stakes are high. We know from yesterday's election results that the gap between us and the Tories is not as great as many of the pundits have been saying. But we still have many people to convince. And we have 4 weeks to do that. Are we up for the challenge? Yeah! Millions are sceptical and undecided, not sure which way to turn. We can blame them. Think about this. Andy Burnham, who had an absolutely brilliant victory to become the new mayor of Greater Manchester yesterday, spoke last week of how alienated people are from the political system. He said, we can't just carry on doing what we're doing. The time has come to do something different. He is right. Our Westminster system is broken and our economy is rigged. Both are run in the interests of the few. Things can and must be different. Labour are under attack because we are standing up to the elites who are determined to hijack Brexit, to pay even less tax and take even more of the wealth that we all create. Yeah. Labour's under attack because we're standing up to the corporate interests, plundering our NHS. £13 billion of NHS budgets is already privatised. How much more will be left if the Tories get another 5 years of damaging our NHS? That's why we're under attack. We're drawing a line under decades of privatisation, from energy and rail to health and social care, that has made some people very, very rich, but it's not delivered richer lives for the vast majority. In this election, we'll be outlining a plan to transform Britain. An upgraded economy, run for the many and not the few. It will mean standing up to powerful vested interests. But we are ready for the challenge, aren't we? The only time the Conservatives stand up is when they're taking orders from their billionaire friends. They certainly stand up then. Those people who hoard what they call their wealth, but in reality it's our wealth in tax havens and those comfortable places around the world. I think you're right. Theresa May thinks she can win the general election by claiming that she cares about working people. Kind. She talks about building a fair society. Does she think people will forget what the Tories have done to this country? How they've actually treated working people? This Tory leader sat alongside David Cameron in government for 6 years. She was in the cabinet room when they decided to introduce the bedroom tax. And so, for that matter, were the Liberal Democrats as part of that same coalition. What was fair about that? Racking up tuition fees, or taking benefits away from people with disabilities, about closing Sure Start centres, or starving schools of cash so they now have to have collections to pay the teachers and the teaching assistants, or opening up the NHS to be plundered by profiteers in the health and social care. And what was fair about giving big business and the very richest in society tax giveaways worth tens of billions of pounds, while the rest of us were told tighten our belts and accept a big dose of austerity? The Tories are hoping everyone has short memories. But if that fails, they have another card they're playing, that this election is about Brexit and who can play it being toughest with Brussels. But we will not allow the Tories to put their party interests ahead of the real interests of the people of this country. This election isn't about Brexit itself. That issue was the subject of the referendum. This question is now what sort of Brexit we want, and what sort of country do we want to be in the future? And who can really be trusted to put working people first? Labour wants a jobs Brexit, a Brexit that safeguards the future of Britain's vital industries, a Brexit that paves the way to a genuinely fairer society and an upgraded economy. Labour's plan to transform Britain will mean investing in infrastructure and new industries, rebuilding our National Health Service and our social care services and our mental health services, giving our children and young people a chance to fulfil their potential. Because we believe in children, all of them should get the same chance, irrespective of the postcode that they live in. We want to be paying lip service to working people. We will introduce a comprehensive programme to strengthen rights at work. Make sure new jobs are good jobs and an end to the race to the bottom in pay, conditions and job security. Low pay and insecurity are like an epidemic under the Tories. We will invest in skills and jobs and take action to enforce a floor under employment standards across the board, so that all jobs are decent jobs, that all workers, the true wealth creators in this country, can play their part in transforming Britain. Transformation means that instead of a country run for the rich, Britain will be a country in which people are not held back, in which everyone is able to lead a richer life. That's why we, all of us, are fighting to win this election. To win, not because we dream for the trappings of office, but because we want a fairer country. A country for the many, not the few. Results yesterday leave us in no doubt about the scale of our challenge. We know this is no small task. It's a challenge on a huge scale. But we, the whole Labour movement and the people of this country, can't afford not to seize this moment. We have until June the 8th to win the general election, so we can fundamentally transform Britain. For the many, not the few. When we win, as Labour, we form the NHS in the post-war Labour government. When we won in the 1960s, we introduced the Equal Pay Act. When we won in the 1990s, we established the national minimum wage. I tell you this, it was one of the proudest days of my life. I've been in a public sector union, NUPE, campaigning for the national minimum wage. And many thought, can't get it, can't do it, why should we legislate for it? And eventually we got it through. But we're going to go further than that. We're going to make sure there's a real living wage, £10 an hour for everybody. People win. The nurse, the teacher, the small trader, the carer, the builder, the office worker, they all win. We're offering a real choice, a real alternative to the rigged system that is holding us back, and the Conservatives who are running our country down in every way. An alternative for the many, not the few. And we need to be that real alternative, because too many people worry that voting won't change anything, that all politicians are the same. Well, we're not all the same, but people are frustrated that a system remains rigged for the few, that the lives of the many don't seem to be getting any better. They vote, nothing changed. The economy is still rigged in favour of the rich and powerful. We have to show that we are different, that we will transform this country. We are genuinely for the many, not the few. When Labour wins, there will be a reckoning for those who thought they could get away with asset stripping our industries, crashing our economy through their greed, and ripping off workers and consumers. When did the Conservatives, Osborne, Cameron, May, Johnson, ever stand up to their financial backers and demand our money back? They never did, and they never will. They make our nurses, our carers, our soldiers, our disabled, our young people trying to get a home of their own, our elderly looking for dignity in retirement, and for those working hard to get a foothold in some decent housing. It makes me angry, it makes me really angry. And I know it makes the people of this country angry too. So today, I say to tax cheats, rip-off bosses, the greedy bankers, enough is enough. We want that money for investment. We've always stood up for the many, not the few, and I would always stand up for our beliefs. It can be a lonely place. Campaigning against privatisation, tax cuts for the rich, letting the banks become all powerful, and the Iraq war, when many politicians were pushing them through, was not always easy. We stood up for workers' pay, better public services, a fairer society, a more equal economy, and for peace and justice. Standing up for your beliefs in any circumstances takes great determination. It can be frustrating, it takes its toll. It's far easier to compromise your beliefs and go along for the ride. But our strength is holding on to what we believe in. Standing up for the many against the few means a struggle, often against the odds. Looking out for the few is easy. Winning for the many is hard. So I have a message to the Prime Minister. If you feel the need to go on about what a great leader you are, then come and have a debate about it. Is about so much more than Theresa May and me. This is our once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you, the people, to decide what sort of country you want to live in. We're full of so much potential, which is being stifled and held back in favour of the few. Together we can transform this country. And we must transform Britain, because now it's rigged for the few. In this election, we're standing for decent jobs, for investment for the future, shared wealth creation, security at work, affordable homes for all, a fully funded National Health Service, training and skills, and an end to the rip-off privatisation, fair taxation, and a fairer, more equal society. As we set out our detailed plans for Britain, the scale of the change we're offering will become very clear. So let's turn our country around. Let's come together to transform this country. Together we can win for the many, not the few. Make sure you're registered to vote. It's quite important. Many laid down their lives for the right to vote. Our democracy comes from the sacrifices and hardships of many down the decades, nay, down the centuries. It's a very precious thing. Make sure everybody who is eligible is registered to vote by May 22nd, so they're able to vote on June the 8th. Make sure you use your vote. Tell your friends, family, neighbours, co-workers about the general election. Discuss it, debate it. This election could be a great moment in our national story. Don't wake up on June the 9th to see celebrations from the tax cheats, the press barons, the greedy bankers, Philip Green, Southern Rail, and crooked bankers that take our wealth and have got away with it. I'm not normally a party pooper, no, I think people should enjoy themselves, but I don't think they should, and we want to ruin it. We've 5 weeks, or under 5 weeks, to win this and transform Britain for the many and not the few. I appeal to all of you, as party supporters, as citizens, as voters, as workers, think about the choice that's before you in this general election. Think about the kind of society you want to live in. Do you want food banks? Do you want children going hungry to school? Do you want more homeless on the streets of this country? Do you want small businesses unable to survive because they're being ripped off by big corporations? Or do you want an economy that works for all, where we invest for the future? So our young people, our brilliant young people, coming out of college and university, so skilled and so often unable to get a job anywhere near their skill level. Or those that stare at the mobile phone all morning, hoping they'll get a text offering them a few hours work on a 0 hours contract. Think about this. Our country has the greatest pay gap of many of the industrial countries of the world. It doesn't have to be like that. Have we got the inspiration, the confidence, the determination, the imagination to go out there and give out a message of the kind of country we can be? I ask all of you, do your best, work night and day till June the 8th, so that we can deliver for the people of this country a government that will work for them, work for the many, not the few. Thank you very much.